I took a leap of faith after speaking to Ranjeet as well as to Megan and understanding what it is. Did some deep dive and took a leap of faith over there and enrolled myself in the program. And what happened after 6 months was like, I was no more questioning my ability or my credibility. I was like, how to get it done. Right.
Write the petition. I spent around 3 hours a day for 2 weeks. So it's almost like 14 to 16 hours per week that you will definitely need. So I would say if you are actually very prepared and you know what to expect out of a meeting that you are having with Ranjit or with any other, it helps a lot. So typically my approach with Ranjit on scheduling meetings and all was to reach out to WhatsApp and say, these are all the things that I wanted to discuss. Based on my experience on the program, I would say it is definitely making you a better person. It all depends on the outcome that you are having in your mind. And since everything was curated and given in the form of this course, I was able to do it faster. So think of it as a syllabus where there is no syllabus for you in a college. And how will you do it? It will take time for you to define the syllabus and looking at things in a particular way, back it with the data, and also still keep collecting the evidences because it is going to achieve a lot of benefits in the long run. If you look at anything that I've done, it has actually helped me in improving my profile. And in most cases, especially on the letter of support and recommendation, which talks about what I have done.
I'm Jayendran Gopalsami and I am an EB1A achiever. I did my EB1A petition on August and it got approved through premium processing in 15 days. I started my journey since January 2023 and within a span of 6 months, I was able to get it done. A lot of work and a lot of coaching helped me in getting those. Speaking to a lot of EB1 achievers in the past and also getting the feedback from them as well as ideas from them enabled me in positioning myself as a good candidate for the US to approve my EB1 petition, especially on the Next League program. I joined in January and since then it has been a great journey there. And I was very happy with the fact that it was given as EB1A will be a byproduct. And I am fully satisfied with it because it has made me into a different person than I was in January to the journey that I'm doing. And it has improved in myself in making much more connections and also establishing myself as one of the authority in my field of expertise and experience.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you and extremely happy for you. It was Megan who had, I remember, is the director of activities and she had enrolled you in the whole thing. So, Jayendran, what was your experience first time when you met Megan? And I know people have doubts about EB1A, about themselves, about the program. So would you like to spell about that from the day let's go back to the day you met Megan for the first time.
Sure. So when I met Megan for the first time, I still was not clear whether I will still make it a good profile to even consider EB1A as such. And I had a lot of questions to Megan even before joining the program. I mean, there was a lot of email conversations that happened between me and Megan. And I think between you and Megan as well, you had several rounds of discussion with my profile. And at that point in time, I was like, hey, do I make the cut or not? That was the question that I had. And I took a leap of faith after speaking to Ranjeet as well as to Megan and understanding what it is. Did some deep dive and took a leap of faith over there and enrolled myself in the program. And what happened after 6 months was like, I was no more questioning my ability or my credibility. I was like, how to get it done, right? And what are all the things that needs to be done in order to, make myself eligible for this. And that confidence made me to talk to several other folks like attorneys. When I started my journey asking them, hey, do you think I am a good fit? And it changed to, I think I am a good fit. And I think I make the cut over here. Can you help me in the process? So that's how it changed. And I really, like the approach that you guys did in identifying all the gaps and addressing those gaps as well.
Oh, wonderful. Let's say, for example, when somebody embarks on EB1 journey, even you had a lot of options. And people have various options actually. Now, what is it that you feel that Next League program stood out actually more than from any other options that are available in the market, or people believe that, there is a kind of a fixo-tip kind of a solution, or just a quick fix solution? Where do you think the Next League would stand out for people?
So one thing that I would say where Next League stands out when comparing to other ones is that the approach that you guys have taken, right? It's like EB1 is not the only product. It's EB1 is just a byproduct. The program is to make an individual a better person than he was before enrolling into the program. And that is one of my key takeaway. And that was what made me to take that leap of faith as well, right? And if you look at it, there was no templates given to me. There was no coaching specifically on EB1A done. It was just that making myself aware of several criteria and how to, get better at making those criteria a good fit for one. And even I was able to identify the criteria which I should not be focusing on. Probably given more time, I would have done it. But given the time frame that I was working with, I said these are some of the criteria which I don't need to focus on. And you can especially focus on those that will definitely make a difference to your project. So most of the work that I did was all on my own, except for a couple of reviews from Ranjeet. But all the other things was all, based on the guidance that I received and also the way of looking at things, right? So for example, if you're looking at a membership criteria, I just did, the first step is to get a membership in some association, which I did. But then based on the feedback that I received and also based on the EB1A achievers that I spoke to, what am I contributing towards that membership or association is something that I questioned, right? And it was not there in the thought before. But once I started to do my analysis and research, I was able to contribute and say that, hey, it's just not the membership that I am doing. It's also that I'm contributing, which actually added credibility to my profile. So it is like the moment you look at the way you need to look at those criteria, your perspective changes and it makes you more effective. That's what I like in my review.
So in terms of your confidence level initially, at what stage you felt that, okay, this is EB1A is certain for me now, it's a matter of time. At what stage you felt that after within a period of 6 months?
Yeah, so there was a lot of swings that happened in the 6-month journey. So when I started my journey, probably I was looking at 30% confidence. I had no clue about how to project my profile or anything like that. Then I joined the program. I went through all the videos and things which were like the initial videos and the training sessions that that Ranjeet had. And after going through this, I was overwhelmed. And I was like, for next 1.5 months, I didn't do anything at all. I was like, okay. I was still thinking whether it was 30%, had it gone to 50% or 20%, I was not sure. And I was like, okay, fine. Now that we have made a leap of faith, let's put in that effort, right? And then I started to see where all the things were coming in, how to tie my profile and my experience to this EB1A criteria. And that's when, in fact, that 1 month of lull period helped me in actually rejuvenating myself and then coming back to the program, starting doing things in a different perspective, in a different way, helped me a lot. So within 4 to 5 months of the program, I was able to create a 40-pager document, which was very similar to the petition that I submitted, even before having my analysis with the lawyers or reaching out to the lawyers and all. So that helped me at that point in time, after 5 months into the program, I was really like 70 to 80% confident that I could make it.
Oh, wonderful. And obviously now it is certain. Now, we always recommend that, we should spend 12 to 15 hours a week actually for the whole program. It could be a lot of other things. How much actual real time that you were putting in?
In the initial days, because there was so many videos to watch and, have to catch up a lot on what is EB1A and also identify several frameworks or learn about several frameworks that you guys introduced through the next league program. I had to spend around 2 hours a day, and it was mostly on the nights because we also have to balance our work with this, and work is also overwhelming. Program is also overwhelming. So I took like 2 to 3 hours a day to go through the videos. And after that, the actual work starts. You will have to write articles. You will have to reach out to people to identify those who are referring you for several reasons, right? Be it associations or be it a letter of recommendation or letter of support that you have to include. And also identifying your expertise. All these play a major role. And when it started to, you were ready to write the petition, I spent around 3 hours a day for 2 weeks. So it's almost like 14 to 16 hours per week that you will definitely need to go through this.
Oh, wonderful. And let us put it other way around. In terms of program or working with me, is there anything that surprised you?
It was not a surprise. I would say if you are actually well prepared and you know what to expect out of a meeting that you are having with Ranjit or with any other folk, it helps a lot. So typically my approach with Ranjit on scheduling meetings and all was to reach out in WhatsApp and say, these are all the things that I wanted to discuss. And sometimes I would say, hey, I'm not able to find a time until next month in your calendar. So can you figure out some way to talk to me? These are all the points that I wanted to discuss. And mostly your responses have been instant, and you have found out time based on, because I've given you what is the agenda, based on the criticality of that, you actually respond and then say, hey, we can meet at this time. And that helped me a lot. So that is also one of the things, major things which has helped me. I upfront say, this is what I wanted to cover. This is my expectation out of the meeting. And this is the agenda that I want to set, which helps everyone to prioritize their work and focus on you. Rather than sending a, hey, can I have a time with you to discuss this? I clearly set up the expectation within that. And that's what helped me a lot.
No, definitely. I always feel that if you make me prepared and there is a specific agenda, sometimes we have spoken on phones also, if it is a quick chat, even if it warrants me, even if I've been out, and I'm more than happy to help everybody, all our students. So that has been, I'm glad you felt out. Let us say, for example, if somebody who is wanting to join the program but is always at a fence, whether EB1A is for me. So there are basically three kinds of people we meet, Jayendran. The one kind is whether EB1A is really for me or whether I should try it out. Second, will I get the right direction? And third is whether is the program good, with whether that program makes sense actually, or should I do it myself? What is your message to all these three set of people?
So I think the eligibility criteria, most of us are there. At least 70 to 80% of the folks whom I have met are there to be, become eligible for EB1, and they're already eligible in most cases. It is just that we will have to take a leap of faith, as I said, and then start preparing our profile in order to meet the regulatory criteria for the USCIS, right? And that's where the gap is. So we have identified the gap. That comes to the second question that you asked. Hey, whether I should pursue it through the program or not. It can be either way, to be frank, but it involves a lot of effort, right? And unless and until you speak to multiple folks, multiple achievers who have done that in the past, you will not be able to get a clear-cut idea, because most of us, especially in the cohort that I've seen, are engineers who are very busy with their own work, and legal is something that they don't understand. And that is where it is better to have someone who can guide you. In my case, I definitely need a coach. I understood that there are some gaps which I couldn't have fathomed about if I hadn't had the coaching done.
Now, third is that, whether I should be investing so much amount of money into this program or should I do it myself actually?
So it is left to the interpretation, but based on my experience on the program, I would say it is definitely making you a better person. It all depends on the outcome that you are having in your mind. If you're going to think that there is going to be someone who's going to help you in writing the petition and drafting the petition on your behalf, this is not the program for you guys. You have to put in the effort, and there will be a framework for you. There will be always help available from multiple different folks, and there will be guidance given to you, but you will have to do the work and then get back. Based on the work done, there will be reviews and feedback given to improve your profile or improve your petition as a whole. But don't expect the team to actually do it for you. The work still remains with you, and the help and guidance will be all the way. So if you need help and guidance, then this is definitely a program. If you think that there is no need for a help or guidance and you can do it on your own, you can do it on your own.
You see, this is a more hypothetical one actually. Suppose you had not joined the program and you had done everything of your own. Now that's the second part which you yourself tried to answer. How much time do you think it would have taken you to get EB1A? If you would have, okay, I will do it myself now actually. I don't want to spend this money.
I think it would have taken at least one more year. So totally it's like 1.5 to 2 years time, because there were so many things to actually learn. And since everything was curated and given in the form of this course, I was able to do it fast. So think of it as a syllabus where, there is no syllabus for you in a college. And how will you do it? It will take time for you to define the syllabus and learn it. Instead, over here, the syllabus is given to you. All you have to do is learn, right? And it is curated. So in which way it helped me a lot, because or else I would have to go figure out what to do, go criteria by criteria, etc. And a lot of perspectives change.
Wonderful. And now what is life after this now, right now? I mean, what do you plan to do now after actually? Now, since you are achiever, Einstein visa, green card holder.
I think it is an outcome, more of an outcome. As you always say, Ranjit, in your words, it is a byproduct. So I would still continue doing all the contributions that I did to various different forums that I was a part of, and also contribute towards my field and also network more. That is one of my major things. I haven't thought much about what am I going to do professionally or, job wise and all. It is still a question. I'm satisfied currently with my job, but planning to do more out of it as well and use some of the learnings that I had in, looking at things in a particular way, back it with the data, and also still keep collecting the evidences because it is going to fetch
Yeah.
you a lot of benefits in the long run. If you look at anything that I've done, it has actually helped me in improving my profile. And in most cases, especially on the letter of support and recommendation, which talks about what I have done and what I have achieved, it speaks on its own rather than my resume doing the talk.
Absolutely. One unique thing which I want each and everybody in the program to have is that when they apply, at whatever time stage they apply, they should get EB1 approved if they are going for premium processing within 15 days.
Yes.
And that's my vision for each and everybody who is making effort. Now, do you see that vision happening, being a reality for anybody who applies? Should be getting it. Does that program equip you according to you for that particular?
Definitely, yes. In fact, I worked with an attorney, and the kind of discussions I had with the attorney was very, very different. Had I had the same conversation like 6 or 7 months back, I wouldn't have been in a great position to say that, hey, I don't agree with this, or I agree with this, or there is an alternative. In my case, in my petition, I had to do a review of like 6 to 7 times before submitting it, though it was an attorney preparing it. So I wanted it in certain way. I would not say it is the right way, but it has to be satisfactory to me, given that I have been through this process for like 6 months and I can clearly spot the gray areas or the black areas or the gap areas, and I wanted to address it. It involved a lot of back and forth between me and the attorney. I still have to give all the research data points so that they can put it in their petition. And that is what will the program empower you to do.
Now, let's say, for example, you joined the program in January with a particular profile. There were already some set of people before you also, whose profile might be, kind of sort of better than you or maybe less than you. And there are some people whose profile, even after you came and they got EB1A, their profile is very different from you. Now, what according to your now this is very important. This is a message for everybody. What, according to you, makes a good EB1A candidate? Is it, according to you now, this is important in your perception, what you have learned in the program? Is it the brand? Is it the qualification? Is it the job? I'm working with XYZ company. I'm working with that. Where do you think is the criticals? What are the 3 or 5 critical success factors for your EB1A readiness and success?
So one thing that is very critical is you have to tell the USCIS about you and how good fit you are. It's more about you rather than the company that you're associated with or your qualifications. Everyone in this group is qualified. Question there is, how do you stand out, right? And what have you done with your qualification? What have you done with your ability? In most of the cases that I've seen, or in most of the people that I've interacted with during my journey, everyone is actually an engineer or a doctor or someone who is highly qualified. So there is no question about the qualification there. And that becomes a commodity now, right? Now, what have you done with that qualification and what have you done with that skill set is the question that you need to answer. That's number one. Number two is you will also have to talk about the impact that your work has created to the industry. So it can be a small impact or a large impact. If you compare with, in my case, for example, I was looking for multiple avenues to contribute in supply chain journals and supply chain magazines. And I was not even there because if you look at the profiles of the people there, it was all VP of supply chain, VP of procurement, etc. But it didn't matter to me because at the end of the day, I am doing or creating an impact in my own way. It's not that I'm creating an impact because I'm VP. I am just creating an impact because I am doing this work in a specific way, which is impacting so and so customers. So there, the association with any organization or any fancy titles that you have doesn't matter.
Wonderful.
The third and the most important thing is how you draft your petition and how convincingly you are creating those evidences, right? So there is a set of criteria that the USCIS looks for, and they're pretty good at assessing your profile in a way. So do you have enough evidences to prove what you claim? That is the third most important.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Any message that you have for people? We are not talking about the program anymore. It is a general, and I want you to spell this out. For somebody, there are 1.5 people waiting for the green card, and they feel that they have no choice actually but to wait or accept fate as the destiny, whatever is coming for 20 years, 30 years, and they know where. And EB1 they feel is very esoteric, very kind of top of the ivory. This thing they will never try. Now, what do you feel about it? If you have to talk to, let's say, 1.5 million people right now, and what will be your message to them who are waiting for the green card and not even trying for EB1?
There are two thoughts to it, right? Some might be like, hey, I'm okay with what I have and I'm going to continue with it, which is fine. And there will be certain people who will be like, hey, if I am not getting this, then I am into a problem. And there might be like certain aspirations that, hey, I just want to be in the US because there is a lot of opportunity. If you're in the second and third category, then it is definitely worth trying EB1 way of application because it gives a lot of freedom, a lot of opportunities that will land you, that you will land on. And if you're in the first category, I would leave it to them. They can also still do it, but it has to be much more aspirational and inspirational. They have to seek for some inspiration somewhere and do it. But trying EB1A for especially for Indians like us, it's definitely worth a try because we are almost there. 70% we are there. And the remaining 20% is something that you will have to work on your profile and then get it done.
Just one question just on the attorney. I was just curious, do you feel like you could have written it yourself, or do you feel, what was your main reason for using an attorney versus doing it yourself?
For me, I could have done it myself. In fact, the 40 pages that I wrote initially was almost the same as my petition. But in order to write it, I didn't have enough time to spend on my own because I was overwhelmed with the office work as well, where I am writing already a lot of documents. And that's where I thought, and I was running against time because I was in the verge of maxing out on my H1B and I don't have a priority date yet. So my
being in the US itself was a question in another 4 months.
Right.
So I had to do it faster.
Yeah.
And I want someone to review it before than, spending time. Had I had like 6 or 7 more months of time, I would have definitely done it on my own, because of the way of writing and the evidences that I shared. Working with the attorney helped in drafting the petition faster. And that was one of my key decisions why I went with it.
Absolutely. Wonderful. I was just going to ask one other question out of curiosity. How beneficial do you feel like having that group there in that community was? Did you, network a lot with your peers? Did you collaborate on anything together? What was that like for you and how helpful was it?
In my case, I did not do a lot of collaboration on this thing because my stream itself was very unique. And not many were there in the group who were in the same stream as supply chain and optimization. Right? But by the time I was on the side end of the of the process, I started collaborating with multiple other folks who had a very similar background as I am. There were product managers, like these product managers were on digital and things. Their stream were very different. Their expertise was very different, and mine was very different. So I had very little opportunities to collaborate during the start, but as and when it started. But one major thing was that you can learn from others' experiences. So they would have done something which could have struck a spark in your mind, and that's what helped me a lot.
Right.
And once I got into the IEEE senior membership and associations with some other folks, I was able to help a lot of them in identifying the avenues for actually writing an article or contributing towards judging, etc. So there was a mutual collaboration and understanding. We tried doing multiple things, but each one has their own journey as well. Right? So a part of collaboration is, and you will see that you will be able to figure out like 4 or 5 different person whom you will work closely with in the program, though there are so many programs that are enrolled. And that's what I think is a great thing to do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jayendran. And I'm so happy for you and your family. We're just absolutely thrilled here.